It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Divas That Care. My name is Candice Gish. Well, if this is your very first time tuning into the Divas That Care, a big welcome. We're so happy that you've joined us today. We're going to have a great show for you guys today. If this is, as I said, your first time, make sure that you go to divasthatcare.com. We have a lot of amazing hosts on our program, and you can listen to all the recorded programs that we've had. Divas That Care is now in its 11th season, and we are listened to in over 30 countries around the world. So it's because of all of you amazing listeners that have continued to share our programs. I know that you like and comment them, and we really appreciate that. Tony Baptista is our guest today, and this amazing woman is from South Africa, and she's going to be sharing with us so many great things. We've had the opportunity to talk multiple times now, and she's absolutely inspiring. So Tony, welcome to the Divas That Care. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be on your show. And I'm so excited to share my journey and my story, and hopefully inspire other women and gentlemen around the world.
Well, I know that you're going to do that. Tony, let's get started right now. Would you mind introducing yourself to our listeners today?
Sure. Hi, my name is Tony Baptista. I'm from Durban, South Africa. And I started my journey off as an entrepreneur back in 2012 when I went through a really bad divorce. I discovered that I lost my identity, and I needed to rebrand myself. And I discovered the importance of personal branding and standing out from the crowd. So I started a virtual business support service, and I started marketing myself on LinkedIn. And that's where my business started. And 8 years down the line, I'm still here. I've expanded my business into focusing a lot on LinkedIn and personal branding, and teaching other women how to start their businesses and get going, and focusing a lot on your personal brand and your online presence. So that's a bit about where I started. I hope that answers your question, Candice.
It does, and I want to ask you why it's important. We've definitely had a lot of amazing individuals on our program that talked about social media, because that seems to be the hot topic, and especially in the last 18 months when we're trying to figure out how to navigate this new world that we're really in. And I know that building a social media presence has always been very important, but talk about the branding, because, we're always said, get out there, but a lot of people might not understand that we need to have a specific brand and not to be all over the place.
Yes. So the importance of that is, especially, I'm going to use myself as an example. So I came out of a marriage, and everything was in my ex-husband's name. So for the time that I was married, there was no trace of me. There was no credit record. There was no Tony Baptista, because I used to buy everything cash. And when I came out of this marriage, everything was in his name and nothing was in mine. So it's the same in business. When you are in a company and you just blend in and nobody knows who you are, they look for you online and there's no trace of you. So there's no credibility. There's nothing that adds to your credibility. So the importance of personal branding is that you, depending on your business, is that you are professional and show yourself in a professional light on social media. Because before people do business with you, they're going to go and Google you and see what you're all about. So they will go onto your Facebook and see all your drunk photos, or your, photos of you sitting on the beach in your bikini. They will find all these photos. They will find photos from ages ago. And especially for the younger generation, when you go into a job market, it can be used against you, and people will not hire you based on what they see on social media from what you've done years ago. So that's the importance of building a credible personal brand, is that you present yourself professionally online and be careful of what you're posting on the different social media platforms.
I love that, Tony, because I think that's a very important topic and something that people need to be aware of. They think, oh, I can just post anything, this is just my friends are just going to see this. But in reality, if you are trying to do something with your life and you're trying to get to a specific point, business wise, you have to realize that everything out there is saved. The digital world is crazy and you can find almost anything out there. So thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome. Yes, and I purely discovered it because of going through a divorce and losing everything, and building a name for myself. So, to me it was important to if people look me up online, that it comes up as in a professional light all the time, and whatever I post on social media is always professional. And that's how I try to run it, because just as important as there are company brands, your personal brand is just as important, and more so now because we live in more of a virtual world than we did before. So if you wanting to build your business, LinkedIn specifically is a great place to go and build your business. Some people are not on social media, so they don't want to be on Facebook, they don't want to be on Instagram. So I always go, okay, but you need to have a presence so you need to be online. People need to find you. So even if you don't want to be on those other platforms, you need to be on LinkedIn. And the importance of LinkedIn specifically is because you can have all your experience on there, what you're currently doing, what you've done in the past. Then to add to it, there's the recommendations. So that adds to your credibility of what you say that you can do. So you can say, I do X, Y, and Z. And then, people go onto your LinkedIn profile and have a look at all the people that you've worked with. And they will make an informed decision about you without even having met you yet. So LinkedIn it used to be just about resumes. It used to be just about recruiters. So when I went onto LinkedIn in 2009, that's basically why I joined LinkedIn, was to put my resume on there and connect with recruiters and try and find a job. Since then, LinkedIn has changed a lot, where you are specifically promoting yourself really as an individual. You're putting there all your experience, but also it's a network platform, and it's a platform where people go to that are business minded. You find a lot of entrepreneurs on there, so you start connecting to your ideal audience and you start building relationships with them. So what I found is that I've built a lot of relationships with people over the years who may not use my service. However, because I'm consistently on there and consistently posting and consistently commenting and sharing and liking other people's posts, I've started building relationships. Those relationships turn into, say for argument's sake, you're at a barbecue and somebody says, oh, I need LinkedIn, and people will remember you, because you'll go, oh, I know just the person to help you with your LinkedIn, because I've spoken to her before, and that's, even though I haven't used her, I know how she operates, because she's always on LinkedIn and I've seen her work, and they pretty much sell you to their friends.
I love that. Well, and Tony, I've definitely seen that change and that shift in the last couple of years of what it's becoming. But one question I know our listeners are going to want to know is, what kind of things do you post on LinkedIn? Because as you're saying, everything is kind of changing. It's becoming more social. A lot of people are no longer, using like Facebook anymore, and they are kind of transitioning to something like LinkedIn. But when you go there, sometimes you see posts that are like, should that be on LinkedIn? How do you kind of decide what should be and what shouldn't be?
So LinkedIn has changed also from just being very business orientated to a little bit more casual. We've seen that change over the last year. Because predominantly before that, you wouldn't be posting, stuff on there that wasn't really business related. So the big thing on LinkedIn is also videos were very big and then they died down, and it seems that the trend is picking up again where videos are doing well again. I play around a lot with content to see what works and what doesn't. So I know that currently video is working a lot, but it's also working on all the social media platforms. And like Instagram is going more video as opposed to just posts. Then you've got YouTube, you've got TikTok, and those are all videos. So for a lot of people, videos are intimidating. They don't want to do it, so they shy away from it. But you need to be posting content about what you do so that people know what is your business about? What are your interests? So that you'll be remembered. They'll keep seeing your content coming up, and they may not like it or share it, but they know, you are the expert in that specific field when you are posting, and you've got to be consistent in what you're posting. So posting once or twice, once a month is never going to work. So you need to be posting at least 2 to 3 times a week. You need to be liking, commenting, and sharing other people's posts. You need to actively be on LinkedIn to build those relationships and actually get to know people. It's very much like going to a networking meeting like we used to in our human days. And
Yep.
get together and introduce yourself. And every time you go there, you'll see the same people at the networking event, and you'll go, oh yes, she does social media, the other one does virtual assistants, she does marketing. So you get to know the different people, even though you're not using their services, but because you see them at the meetings every week, you'll remember them. So when somebody needs that service or product, they'll know who to refer them to.
And I think that is so important because we are in that age of virtual. We can work with people anywhere in the world.
Yes, absolutely. So that's what LinkedIn, opened the doors for me specifically, because I had my the people that I wanted to work with. I was very clear on who I wanted to work with, and all of those people were specifically on LinkedIn. So I started targeting those specific people that I wanted to work with. And then I went, okay, I would love to work with people in America, in the US. So I started targeting them. And you're going to laugh, but I really like watching reality TV to find opportunities. And so I am a big fan of the Real Housewives franchise. And I loved the Real Housewives of Orange County. And I always noticed that Vicky Gunvalson was always on her phone, or she always had her laptop with her. And I thought, she is such a workaholic. So I connected with her on LinkedIn and some of the other cast members that are business people. And they accepted back in 2015. And so 2 years ago, I saw Vicky's, there was activity coming on. So on her feed, somebody was posting for her, or she was posting. And I looked at her LinkedIn account and I thought, well, there's nothing on here. Yet her Instagram is so busy. It's got over 1.1 million followers, and her Facebook is busy. There was nothing happening on LinkedIn. So I thought, well, what would happen if I just message her? So I found her email address, And I emailed her and I told her, I gave the reasons of how I could help her on LinkedIn specifically. And to my shock and horror, and I almost fell over when I got an email back saying she would, love to listen to what I have to say.
Oh,
And I was like,
wow.
no way. I was like, no ways. Are you for real? So I thought, okay, it must be her assistant that's replying. So I didn't tell anybody about this whole thing. And then she agreed to a Zoom call. So I thought, no ways. There's just no ways that this is all a scam. So I thought, okay. And I waited for the Zoom call. And there she was on my computer screen. And I was like so starstruck at this. Here I am, this little girl in South Africa, talking to this woman that I have been watching on a reality show for the last 14 years. And here she was talking to me. And I told her about LinkedIn. I told her about the benefits of being on LinkedIn. And she goes, I really don't have time to sit and learn about LinkedIn. I don't have time to clean it up. Can you do it for me? So I was like, yeah, of course I can. No problem. I can. No problem. She goes, okay, let's do it for a month and let's see how we go. And I said, okay, let's do it. And so it's been 2 years that I've been working with Vicky, and I still run her LinkedIn. I manage her LinkedIn account. I've also helped her on her other social media platforms when she had her podcast. And then I also worked with Eddie Judge, who was also from the Real Housewives of Orange County. So that goes to show you the power of LinkedIn, that you can reach out to anybody, anywhere in the world, no matter who they are. So to me, that was one of my highlights of how far I've come, because I didn't have an identity. I lost everything in my divorce. And from nothing, I created something. And from something, I connected with celebrities in the US. So whatever you set out to do, you can achieve it if you consistently continue doing what you're doing. And it still comes down to personal branding, because those people are going to go and have a look at you and go, well, why should I really work with you? So you need to be an expert in your field, and you need to project it online. So that when they do go and have a look at you, they'll go, okay, you've got a good brand, you've got a personal brand. So if I can do this from South Africa and I'm just a little person, pretty much anybody can do it.
Oh my goodness, Toni, I love that story. That is such an impactful story for our listeners today. I know that a lot of people, it's overwhelming. We've talked about that. It's a big thing out there. How can our listeners get a hold of you? They're like, okay, I need Toni. I need her to help me find my place on LinkedIn.
So you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Toni Baptista, Baptista. You can also go onto my website. It's www.tonibaptista.com. You can Google me and find me pretty much anywhere. So yeah, but otherwise you can reach out to me also on email, info@tonibaptista.com. That's ToniBaptista.com. That's info@tonibaptista.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Toni. And for all of our listeners, I will be posting all of Toni's information on our social media so that you can quickly just click on it and go to her sites, because my goodness, you're going to love it. Her site is absolutely beautiful. It's got all the information. She does more than just LinkedIn and branding. There is so many other facets to this amazing woman, and I know that you're going to want to get in contact with her. Well, Toni, I've had such a great, amazing program with you. I really love what you're sharing with us, but I want to ask you, is there any tips, is there any tools, things that, maybe are going to be happening in your life in the future here that you'd love to share with us?
So tips, my tip would be whatever you do it consistently, and focus on, having your mindset also. I think your mindset plays so much, especially when through these trying times, is hanging around with people online that have the same values as you, but are also more successful, and learning from those individuals. So I hope that answers your question in a way. Is there anything
Yes,
to know?
because I think it's really important. One of the things that I've learned over the years is that you surround yourself with 5 people, the 5 people for influence, and how you can, to be the best person we can be. And I've always loved the quote that 1% better each and every day. And, when you find yourself surrounded with great people, I think that you do find yourself doing that. You want to be a little bit better every single day. So Toni, that is great advice. Thank you so much. And I hope that you come back on the Divas That Care again soon.
I would love to. I'd love to. And I'd love to be part of your community and meet a lot of wonderful women. And I hope that I can get the chance of helping, a couple of women. That would be great. I love helping people. I love seeing people succeed. I love, seeing a difference in women specifically. I also do personal brand coaching. So I help people, when, they need help with their personal brands, because some people just don't know where to start, and I help them from the start with building their personal brands. And I love seeing people shine and succeeding. So I hope I get the chance to help some of your listeners.
Oh, I'm sure you will do that. And please, for our listeners and for you also, Toni, check out our Facebook page, the Changemakers Cafe. And in that group, we love community that we're building there. People are meeting. So we invite our listeners and every guest that comes under a program to the Changemakers Cafe, so that you can connect with all these amazing women that come on our program.
Fantastic. I'd love to be part of that. I'll definitely connect with you there.
Thank you so much. And a huge shout out to all of our listeners. Thank you, each and every one of you, for tuning in to today's program. It's because of you that I said we've continued to do this for 11 years, and I love it. I love the opportunity to chat with fantastic women like Toni. I learned something from each and every one of our guests. And I know that if you check out all of our other podcasts, you will learn from the guests also. So make sure you check them out at divasthatcare.com. Well, everyone, I hope that you do something kind and you have a great day. Until next time, everyone.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.